It's a new mindset for a lot of our sellers because part of our business is a digital media business. It's a very different go-to-market motion than it is on the marketing-owned channel side, CRM side. So some of our sellers are kind of newer to that idea of how you can use, especially like an AWS partner, to help us get those relationships with IT, get those relationships with procurement, get our deals through faster, especially with the marketplace. So we are just at the beginning of unlocking that potential, so I'm very excited about it. It's a lot of work to do though.
Epsilon there's sort of three parts. I mean, you have the data business we've been talking about, but you also have products that you bring to market, and then you have services as well. How do you think about that sort of constellation of those three elements, and then in the context of working with partners?
What we've tried to do is within each of those categories of partners, we focus on the most important thing that Epsilon can bring to add value on top of the partner's technology or products.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Partnering, and we are here day 2 or day 3. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
At reInvent, and oh my gosh, it's just a huge event. So much you just never feel like you can even scratch the surface.
Yeah, for sure, and it's hard to even maneuver around to get to meetings and so forth. A lot of people here.
A lot of people, and the keynote lets out, and it's just like this mad crush.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Survival skills.
So we are here on the show floor actually today, and I'm so excited to be joined by Chandos Quill, and Chandos is Senior Vice President of Channels and Alliances at Epsilon, and welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be chatting with you.
Yeah, so this is an interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. So Chandos has a long history in ad tech and marketing data companies with going back to Experian.
Experian days.
Yeah, Merkle, Axiom, and a number of those like very large. Always working with marketing data that marketers need to be able to run their programs. So I love to get into this. I think it's really interesting, sort of this combination of services, technology, and data, and you're right in the middle of all that. So. Chandos, maybe let's start, just tell me a little bit about what you and your team are up to at Epsilon.
Yeah, maybe it might be helpful for some of your viewers to understand who Epsilon is and what we do. You teed it up really nicely, but Epsilon is part of the Publicis Group, which is a one of the largest global agency holdcos. So the Epsilon division within Publicis is really as you described accurately, the data, services, and technology arm of the agency holdco. So, and our whole focus is providing those data-driven solutions and services to marketers to help them acquire more customers and to develop deeper, longer-lasting relationships with their existing customers. Yeah. So that's what we do at the very highest level. Yeah.
And so your team, in terms of partnerships, tell me a little bit about the kinds of partnerships that you are working on. Why are you here at reInvent? What are your objectives here? And let's start there.
Yeah, so I joined Epsilon about 1.5 years ago, and was specifically brought in to build a partnership function. We had a few pockets of people doing partnerships, but we didn't have a centralized partnership function. So I would say we were in a very ad hoc, opportunistic level of maturity, if you will.
It's funny, there are a lot of companies that are like that. It just sort of partnerships sort of grow
kind of
organically,
but also siloed. Yeah, that was very much our situation. I like that because I happen to be somebody that's a builder. I like to build teams, build talent, build strategies, and go to market. So for me, it was the perfect place to land. And so for the past year, that's building that initial foundation has really been the focus for me and my team. It was assessing the talent, bringing together the teams, putting together a comprehensive strategy and plan, and building some of those foundational things like just tracking our success key part of our
kind of
job.
important.
Very important. So I started with that, but also just making sure that our partner strategy was really tied to the corporate direction and the product strategy too. There was a lot of work of just connecting the dots there.
That's so important too, and so, it's something that I think a lot of times people don't I mean, that makes it helps the executive team understand what the value of partnering is, right? And then that's how you unlock resources.
Yeah. No, it's funny. We sometimes think that just because a company's been around for a while, they understand everything. But the build, buy, partner, I mean, those are three very important parts of a go-to-market strategy. And we had to do a little reminding of people that partner is the third leg of the stool. And then also just starting to build that foundation with the sales team. Understanding how to use partners to drive more revenue through the channel.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the kinds of partners that you are working with today.
So we have several different categories of partners. We have infrastructure partners like AWS and Databricks as two good examples of infrastructure partners. We have technology solution partners. Think about, especially in the marketing and advertising space, those are companies that are, Adobe's, Salesforce's, Braze. A lot of our clients have invested in those tech stacks, and so we wrap our services and data around those technologies, or we supplement with our own technology solutions. So then we have a data channel, so using our data to fuel the ad tech ecosystem, so working with DSPs and different platforms, and also just more regional kind of companies that provide direct marketing services to their clients. So we have a data channel, and then we have a product integration and point solution set of partners. Those are more point solutions that plug into our platform for providing a more robust solution to our clients. Example would be our loyalty platform. There are very specialized providers out there that do gamification, mobile wallet solutions that we plug into to provide a more comprehensive solution for our enterprise clients. Yeah.
That's a wide range of partners.
Yeah. Although what we've done is very specifically focused on quality versus quantity in each of those categories, especially because I'm still in the process of building the team and scaling and proving the value to executives and sales. So my message to all of our partners is we're leaning in on the ones that really matter and continuing to grow and scale those versus signing up 20, 30 new ones. Right. Yeah.
That's really important. I love that approach. I think especially as you're building and growing and trying to prove out the value, you only got so many resources to get going, and so you really need to focus.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate that I have a lot of support and have been given a lot of resources I need to build this function and competency in the company. But yeah, it's not unlimited. So we're in the point where I got a lot of stuff put in place, and now we need to continue to prove and then do our business case to get more support.
Yeah, that's terrific. So talk a little bit about the infrastructure partners. We're here at reInvent, and how are you working with AWS or other cloud providers?
Yeah, so it's an important go-to-market for us. By the end of this year, so coming up here in the next couple of weeks, we will have had all of our products and services in their marketplace. We actually, this year, in the last quarter, closed an extremely large deal through the marketplace, our first deal.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, and it's gotten the attention of our salespeople. So the wheels are starting to spin. We've certainly gotten the attention of AWS. I mean, Publicis generally has a strong presence and relationship with AWS. We're also a big client. But from a partnering perspective, we're now focusing on how do we start to promote and support those offerings in the marketplace and get that flywheel going with our sales and their sales. So we're here really getting those conversations going and determining our plan for 2026 with them.
So that's terrific. I think those initial stories, customer stories and deal stories are really important when you're trying to get the field, working together and to get people excited about the partnership.
Yeah, it's a new mindset for a lot of our sellers because part of our business is a digital media business. It's a very different go-to-market motion than it is on the marketing, kind of owned channel side. CRM side. So some of our sellers are kind of newer to that idea of how you can use, especially like an AWS partner, to help us get those relationships with IT, get those relationships with procurement, get our deals through faster, especially with the marketplace. So we are just at the beginning of unlocking that potential, so I'm very excited about it. Yeah. It's a lot of work to do, though.
A lot of work to do, but it's interesting because Epsilon, or any company that's in the marketing data market, your sellers have relationships with the line of business, right? With marketing and sales, and then the AWS sellers have relationships with IT. So it's a good combination to unlock accounts.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's another reason why these infrastructure partners we're really leaning into. I think it's two sides of the same coin, but generally a good thing. One is, you're absolutely right, like we value each other's relationships because of the expertise we have in marketing and the advertising side of an enterprise, and then they have the IT side. It's not always easy to get the sellers to figure that out, so that's where I think the hard work comes, and a lot of the sales enablement and things that we need to do this next year to kind of get them better educated, and then those win stories on top to give the fuel. That's probably the majority of my focus for 2026.
Yeah, you have a big win, right? And so having that salesperson talk about the value and sort of getting that out to everybody else, huge thing.
Yep. Absolutely, that's top on the list.
So, being in the data business, how do you think about data privacy and some of those challenges around data, especially as you're working with partners? Could you share your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so being in the data business, consumer data business, privacy, it's not new for a data company. There's always been privacy regulations. They just continue to kind of increase and get more focus more recently, especially in Europe and then now in the US. But it's not a new thing for a company like us. We have Chief Privacy Officer, our legal counsel. They stay in touch with all of the different laws that are developing and then provide us guidance on what we need to do to adjust our data collection and data management capabilities in order to comply with the upcoming laws. And then we provide a lot of thought leadership and support to our clients around that too. In fact, many of our clients and partners look to us to, because we have the resources to understand what the laws mean and what you should or shouldn't do, or what best practices are out there. And so we bring that perspective to our partners and to our clients. But it is a very important aspect of our business.
Yeah, I could see where partners would really rely on your expertise and the thought leadership that you bring in that area, because you are sharing data, or you're allowing the partner to leverage that data, so they want to make sure that they're in compliance.
Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of the technology that's developing now, we have our own clean room solution. We're working with some of the infrastructure partners on how we take our clean room, which is more about activation for marketing and advertising, and connect that to more of an enterprise clean room strategy. And I think everybody's trying to protect and limit the amount of information that flows, but still enable businesses to operate. So I think there's a lot of really interesting work that we're doing from a partner solution perspective with some of our infrastructure partners around that.
Yeah. With the introduction of AI and over the last 2 or 3 years, how has that impacted? To many people, it's still a little bit of a black box, and so you've got all this data. AI is mucking around in there. How are you thinking about, or how is Epsilon thinking about, those challenges?
Yeah, AI is a huge part of our strategy, from Artur, our CEO of Publicis Group, all the way down to Epsilon. And so everybody is looking at, how do we leverage AI to do things better? How do we build that into our platform and our products to make it easier for clients? There's some exciting things. Obviously in the agency world, it's AI to better understand and create audiences, create more personalization. That's the exciting thing. In marketing, we've always talked about the dream being one-to-one marketing. Right. And it's been very hard to do over the years, but now, even though we have all these different technologies, all these different channels, Now we have AI on top that can really help bridge the gap between those things and maybe create true one-to-one marketing, including the content that is more catered to each individual. I mean, it's pretty exciting. So that overall theme, and then all of the data, the technology, the services, our media business, our agents, creative agencies, you can think about, hey, how AI plays a part in each of those, and then orchestrating that for a brand. That's what we're working on.
Really fascinating, and exciting.
Yeah.
I think, and so one-to-one marketing, like very specific marketing for each person.
Yeah, personalized.
Yeah, personalized, and then also I would think ABM as well, right? Account-based. So you've got things that are personalized. It could be to an entire buying team, but you may have different messages, very specific for the account.
Yeah, and that's where our partners come into play. As we create more go-to-market with our partners, and you brought up a good point, like an AWS who's talking to the technology side, we're talking to the marketing side. We can use all of that knowledge to better create the message for both, right? That's catered to the decision maker, the buying, and what matters most to those different constituents. Yeah.
Epsilon there's sort of three parts. I mean, you have the data business we've been talking about, but you also have products that you bring to market, and then you have services as well. How do you think about that sort of constellation of those three elements, and then in the context of working with partners?
Yeah, it's sometimes a blessing and a curse. And then there's the group dynamics as well, right? They have different services that they provide, creative services, creative strategy services. But within Epsilon, I think what we've tried to do is within each of those categories of partners, we focus on the most important thing that Epsilon can bring to add value on top of the partner's technology or products. Don't try to be everything to everybody. It's just really hard and confusing. For example, from an infrastructure side, we're really leaning in on our technology products and data. With some of our technology solution providers, we're focused more on services. So it kind of depends on generally speaking, the category of partner and where we start and where we focus to get traction, and then there's other things we can always continue to build in, and that's the exciting opportunity as we continue to scale.
As you were talking, I sort of imagined this like matrix of the technology, the different categories of your offerings, and then the different partner types, and you've got different things that you're doing with each category.
Yeah, I think the challenge I have sometimes in my team is just staying focused, because we can do so much with so many different of those partners. And so this year I've kind of focused on less is more. We don't need more partners because we can do so much with a partner potentially, but let's just get traction early with one thing or one vertical or whatever, and then we build from there. I mean, I think we have time. I don't think we're under pressure to, because it's a new thing, the expectation, luckily for me, is lower. So just proving that value and continuing to show steady growth and improvement, that's kind of the phase we're in, which is good.
Yeah. It's exciting. Yeah. And I'd love to hear an update, as you continue to grow the function and build value for Epsilon.
For sure. Next time we'll do an interview with some of our partners.
Terrific. Love to.
Yeah. We can talk about our success. Yeah, I love it.
Chandos, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you taking some time and sharing what's happening at Epsilon and your journey right now, and very exciting.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun chatting with you. Yeah.
So thank you all as well for joining another episode of Inside Partnering, and Chandos, thanks for joining, and we will see you next time. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks everybody. See you next time.